I'm stunned by the results of a brand new poll. I got to tell you, I didn't expect this. I've seen every poll showing that Trump is way ahead. And this is why I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it is so important who he picks for his vice president. It's just so critical. He's trying to play it down. He's trying not to get everybody too excited about it. But listen, he's got to have the right team around him right now because they're going to do everything they can to take him apart one by one. And right now, it's working. Brand new Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac is a pretty good poll. So back in 2016, they were saying Trump was going to win. And I remember I was at Fox at the time, and they get kind of snooty about their polls. They're like, "Hey, don't cite that Quinnipiac poll. That's really not a good poll. We have our own polling, blah, blah, blah." Well, let me just say, their polling didn't show what the Quinnipiac poll showed, which was that Trump was going to win. And then again in 2020, Quinnipiac showed a pretty tight poll. Well, right now we've got Reuters, New York Times, every other poll is showing that Joe Biden is way behind and that Trump is going to win. And then all of a sudden, whammy, this one hits today. I think Drew's got it. Let's show you. Ladies and gentlemen, not good news. 6-point lead Biden has right now over Donald Trump. And guess why? Women. He has got, I say this as somebody who doesn't want to see the policies of this administration, which are terrible, terrible. Doesn't want to see those policies there for another 4 years. So I'm going to tell you this. Donald Trump needs to think long and hard about who he chooses, and whoever he chooses, he needs that person to help close this gap. Because women, they could say, "Hey, I'm going to vote for the nice guy. The guy I think is nice, but hey, I don't know if he's that nice, and he's not keeping you safe, ladies and gentlemen, not when we see what's going on in the Middle East." But he's going to play to that crowd. He's already doing it. So Donald Trump needs to focus on this. I want to know who you think, right? Let's just be very open with each other here, because we don't want taxes going up. We don't want more inflation. We don't want chaos at the border, and we don't want what potentially could happen overseas happening. So if he needs to close this gap, then everybody needs to wake up and smell the coffee, and he's got to try and find a way to do it. That might mean choosing a woman, just saying, one that's non-threatening, that's smart, that is capable. I mean, they'll destroy her anyway, right? That's what they do. But he's got to try and head that off somehow, some way. Does he know that? I think he does. But he's trying to kind of downplay expectations. We saw him the other day on with one of the Fox reporters. Let's take a look at this. If we
said
have
in
it,
our town hall that you had an idea, or you might have already decided about your VP pick. When do you think you're going to make that?
Well, it's never really had that much of an effect on an election, which is an amazing thing. Both election and primary, it's never really had much of an effect. I may or may not release something over the next couple of months. There's no rush to that. It won't have any impact at all. The person that I think I like is a very good person, pretty standard. I think people won't be that surprised. But I would say there's probably a 25% chance it would be that person.
Senator Tim Scott.
So, you get names out there. We've talked about them all. I know you love Vivek. I love him too. I don't think I think you double down on the base, and you run the risk that you're not going to bring those women over. Women, they don't like what's going on at the border. They don't like what's going on overseas. But you know what? They feel like he might be, whatever. Maybe they're drinking the ABC Kool-Aid. They watch too much of The View. I don't know. So you're going to have to figure this one out. And I think that the choice of a woman, it's hard. Believe me, it's hard. You've got to find someone who's not threatening, somebody who is commanding, somebody who is intelligent and trustworthy, and all of these things. It's very tough. But we do have a lot of talented women in the Republican Party. And you're going to be up against something, because I have some names, by the way. I'm going to throw them out there. I'd like to get your reaction, but you're going to be up against a lot. Taylor Swift, for one, I think she's going to get political. That's just my little instinct. I think Taylor Swift's going to get a little bit political. The New York Times had a piece the other day saying that, hey, they're trying to court her. They're trying to court her hard. But, you know, there is one woman that beat her before, right? Like she tried to campaign against her. I'm talking about Tennessee's Marsha Blackburn. She's a little bit older, right? She's a grandmother, so maybe that takes away some of the edge, the threat. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm throwing stuff out there. Like I'm curious to get your thoughts too, because it's a live show and we got a chat going on. So I want to know. This is a very big topic, of course, for all of us, and I think it's incredibly important. I think that this vice president choice is going to matter more than anything in any recent election history. I know a lot of you, yes, you like Christie. I see that. I know that. I know that a lot of people like Carrie Lake. She might come across as too, like, again, you need somebody who's not polarizing here. And that's tough. Like, it's a very tough thing. Tulsi Gabbard. I see some of you, you talk about Tulsi. Oh, I hear no. Somebody's saying no, you don't want Tulsi. Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, she was a Democrat, but again, it might be a polarizing thing. They already tried to destroy her. I mean, she actually had a shot in the Democrat Party. So what did Clinton say? What did Hillary Clinton say? She said she was a Russian spy. I'm sorry, this woman is a former military member, and Hillary comes out with she's a Russian spy. I mean, I'm just telling you, this is wow to me. Like the aggressiveness, the venom, the coordination. Like, how do we stand a chance against that, right? So I think the risk for Donald Trump is he could double down on what works, which might be Vivek, right? Or he could try to bring in more people. It's a tough one because they're going to shoot whoever he picks down. They're going to pick her apart. Heck, maybe he goes with Nikki. I mean, that's crazy. I know nobody likes Nikki right now. But maybe if Nikki were in there, it might maybe diffuse some of this. I mean, you get the mainstream media right now. They're trying to prop up Nikki. So then they're going to look really stupid. Of course, they did that with Trump. Remember? Like Morning Joe was all over Trump because they wanted him to be the one that won against Hillary. Don saying Huckabee Sanders would be, that's such a good idea, Don. That's such a good idea. He's talking about Sarah Huckabee Sanders, former press person for Trump. And she's kind of, yes, Sarah Sanders, there you go. She's not threatening. She's a mom. She's, by the way, super smart and a great person. I like her a lot. I know you guys like Christie too. This is a tricky one because women have to like her, all right? We're going to forget about men. All you men, you got Trump. So who in America right now, in American politics, is going to reel in women the way they think Taylor Swift can for the other side? I mean, he needs to be smart about this. We need to be smart about this. We need to start talking. I mean, I mentioned Marsha only because I know she beat Taylor already. Taylor Swift campaigned for Marsha's opponent in Tennessee, and it didn't work. It did not work. And Marsha's extremely smart. Senator Blackburn, she's been on this show. We should get her back on, right? We can ask her about this stuff. She's a grandmother. She's a really interesting person, and she's somebody who might possibly stand a chance. Tulsi Gabbard, as we said. Carrie Lake, I don't know. Christie, good idea. Will women like her? I hate to say this. This is hard. It's darn pretty, and that's interesting, right? In the media environment and how other women respond. Again, I'm just being complete. It's all out on the table right now because we have to together think this one through and come up with some good ideas. Sarah Palin was neat because she kind of had a way about her that was extremely dynamic, that wasn't really off-putting, that wasn't intimidating. I'm not saying Sarah Palin, by the way. At the end of the day, I think a lot of people didn't find her bright enough, smart enough to be able to be in that position. Not that any of these vice presidents are, let's be honest, right? Like Kamala, I'm sorry. And by the way, she's not going to pull either blacks or women, right? Like, that was the idea with Kamala, that she was going to check all these boxes. So I don't want someone who's going to just check boxes. I think we need to figure out who women in America will like. I saw one of you put up Ben Carson, which maybe, but I don't know. I don't know if that's going to really inspire them. You need women to be inspired. And I'm kind of freaked out by that Quinnipiac poll. So I'm telling you, like, it's time to buckle down and figure this out.